Hey everyone! I hope that you're all doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Boom Shikha and I welcome you to my audios and videos. I hope that you're enjoying them. In this one, I wanted to speak to you guys about a term that I recently read that I really liked. It really appealed to me, and the term was spiritual hygiene. It's so fascinating to me, first of all, that hygiene is such a big part of our human culture. I think it's a good thing, obviously. If we did not have hygiene, I think a lot more people would die from bacterial deaths and infections and things like that. So that's great. I think a lot of deaths in hospitals were stopped because the doctors started washing and nurses started washing their hands. So that was a big, major change in the way they started doing and how they did things. Before, I read a thing where doctors would go to the morgue and deal with dead patients or dead bodies, and they'd be rummaging around in the dead body, and then they wouldn't wash their hands, and then they would start doing an operation or start treating a patient right away after that. And so obviously, all these bacteria from the dead body were being transmitted, and obviously a lot of people were dying because of that. Again, they started washing their hands, and instantaneously a lot of those deaths were just done, because between going from place to place, going from a morgue where you're dealing with a dead body to dealing with a live patient, they started washing their hands, and that in itself changed everything. It changed the whole entire medical industry. And so, of course, hygiene is a very big part of our life, physical hygiene, I mean. And that's literally it. Physical hygiene is the only real hygiene that we think about. We take care of our homes, we take care of our bodies, we clean ourselves every single day, hopefully. We take showers, and we use soap on our hands, or we use antibacterial soap or wipes or alcohol, whatever it might be, and wash our hair, we brush our teeth. We teach our children to do exactly the same thing as well. So one of the things that you'll teach your child is to wash their hand and to brush their teeth every day and things like that, right? So it's like something that's very predominant in our society and our culture. But physical hygiene is only one of the aspects of hygiene that we should be focusing on, and the other aspect is spiritual hygiene. And there's other aspects as well, but I'll be focusing on spiritual hygiene in this video and in this audio. And the main thing about spiritual hygiene is that there is some kind of cleanup every single day. Just like you clean yourself every single day, otherwise bacteria would accumulate on your body and your mouth and your hair or your hands. The same kind of thing. That's the reason we wear shoes, right? I mean, otherwise you'd have bacteria from the ground being transmitted over to our feet. So just like you clean yourself every day physically, it is important and paramount actually to cleanse yourself spiritually every single day. A lot of us imagine that we just have to do perhaps like one or two spiritual cleanse sessions a year. We go away for a bit for a holiday and that's our spiritual cleanse. Or perhaps if you're a little bit more spiritual, then you might do like a vipassana once a year, or that's your cleanse, or something like that. Do you do one or two retreats a year or something like that, and that's your cleanse, and that's all you do in terms of spiritual cleansing. Whereas every day normally you just pretend like it doesn't exist, like you don't need to cleanse, like everything is fine, and then you have a mental breakdown and you wonder what's going on, why is this happening. Every single day we're accumulating spiritual trash, not only in our bodies, obviously, through all the energy that we're accumulating from all the people around us, but also psychically and spiritually from all the information that we're gathering, from all the information that we're reading and all the information that is being thrown at us, also energy that's being thrown at us, from all the associations that we have that are not really suitable for us, perhaps even toxic to us, from all of those things that we're doing that are perhaps addictive behaviors, not really things that are good for us. And then all of these things, negative, positive, and neutral, are being accumulated in our bodies. And so one of the things I recommend to a lot of people when I do my videos and my coaching sessions is I tell people to cleanse every single day. And the best time for me, I've found, to cleanse is right before I go to sleep. Because while you're sleeping, also your body's cleansing yourself, your subconscious is cleansing itself, your brain, your entire body basically is cleansing itself on the inside out, your digestion, your skin, etc. And so it's a good time for you to cleanse spiritually as well. And it's really nice because right before you go to sleep, you can kind of go through your entire day. And this way, you're not accumulating any trash, spiritual trash, inside of you from day to day to day to day to day, and then doing it once a week or once a month or once a year, which can be a little too much. That's why a lot of these retreats are filled with crying, bawling people, because it's just too much for them to handle, to cleanse a year's worth of stuff in 7 days. It's a lot of stuff. And so literally what you need to do every single day, if you can, or it would be nice if you could, is right before you go to sleep or when you wake up. A lot of people do this when they wake up, they journal. But once a day, you sit down and you kind of go through the day and you release a lot of this stuff that happened to you. A lot of people hold on to things, I believe, is because they just never let go of it. They never actually sat down and consciously or intentionally said, okay, I'm letting go of this, right? When do you actually do that? Something happens to you and you just hold on to it until sometime later, much time later, it kind of triggers you. And then you realize, that bothered me and I still am holding on to it. And so basically the essence of this exercise would be just to let go of it. For example, if you had a difficult conversation with your parent during the day, instead of mulling over it and crying over it and going to sleep without dealing with it, just take a few moments. It doesn't really actually even take that long because it's fresh and you can let go of it faster if it's fresher. And so you sit there and you just write it out. You write, if you're journaling, you write it out, or you can do an audio. I just speak sometimes into my phone if I'm too tired to write, or I'll just sit there and I'll reflect on it. And I'm like, all right, what was the lesson that I learned from it? Why did this happen? How can I avoid it in the future? And those are the 3 questions I ask myself. What happened? Usually if it's bad or good or whatever, and what is the lesson that the universe wants to give to me? Because everything has a lesson in it. If I did something wrong, how can I avoid it in the future? So I learn from it. Obviously, I don't want to repeat my mistakes over and over and over and over and over again, right? And how can I avoid it in the future? So it's a big one as well, because you want to learn from it. You don't want to repeat your cycle, your karmic cycle over and over and over and over again, because it's boring and it's tiring and exhausting. And so once you ask those questions, you'll get the insight that you needed, the lesson that you needed, and you'll be able to let it go. Perhaps sometimes it will take you a little bit longer. Perhaps it'll take you 2 or 3 sessions. Perhaps it'll take you a week to let go of some things. Obviously, if you break up with someone, it's going to take you much longer. But these kind of spiritual cleansing or hygiene techniques every single day, I think is the best way to deal with daily spiritual assault that our bodies, minds, and spirits get on a daily basis. Literally, we're being assaulted by all of these random things, magazines that tell us we're not good enough, TV shows that tell us that we are too fat or too ugly or whatever it might be, people that come into our lives and criticize us or are bringing toxic energy into our vicinity, people who are fighting and again bringing toxic energy or negative energy into our lives, work stuff that we don't really want to work at this job, but we're doing it because it's for the money, things like that. There's 100,000 things going on every single day that is basically causing an assault onto your spiritual essence. And what you need to do is cleanse it out every single day. Otherwise, it's going to build up and build up and build up, and toxic buildup over time has to be cleansed out or released. Otherwise, it's going to result in a breakdown, or a nervous breakdown, a mental breakdown, a spiritual breakdown, or whatever it might be. And then you're going to end up really having to deal with it because it doesn't ever go away. You can postpone it for a while, perhaps even for a long while, but eventually it will come and bite you in the bum and you're going to have to deal with it. So better deal with it today rather than 5 years from now when it becomes so big that it's literally an explosion in your life. And so I do recommend the journaling technique because it is a very easy technique to start off with. All you do is write it out, and the release that you feel after writing it down is really poignant. You will feel it. You'll feel a sense of release in your heart, a sense of release in your soul or spirit, in your body. It's very tangible. It's very feelable. That's a word. But if journaling doesn't work for you, maybe you can just do an audio. You can just record yourself. Or as I said, you can just sit and reflect on it. Or you can even talk to someone about it. If you have a partner and you have these kind of conversations daily, you can just, before you go to bed, you have these conversations where you just tell them what happened and then you talk about it with each other, and you kind of try to figure out what the lesson was and what you can learn from it and how you can avoid a negative situation in the future. And that way you're not holding on to things forever, and you're able to maintain a pretty high level of spiritual hygiene, just like you're probably maintaining a pretty high level of physical hygiene in your life right now. So I hope this makes sense. If you liked this, or if you didn't like this, comment below and I'd love to hear from you. Again, thank you so much for listening, for watching, wherever you are listening to me or watching me at. And I shall see you the next time around. Bye for now.